Hey, I'm Brad, and this is The Race Show.
Hi, my name's Des, and welcome to The Race Show. What's up guys, Des here. I'm here to share with you the new parts we got in for the 711 build, which is also the S10. These two are VS Racing 6762 symmetrical turbos. Byron from VS, which is a really good friend of ours, hooked us up, but normally you could go for about $1,300 for the pair, which is pretty good if you're asking me. With these, we should be able to have a fast spool up, and we'll be able to make more than enough power than what we're looking for this build so far. Also, our buddy Fleck from Ford Infamous hooked us up with a set of up and forward headers for $100. We're currently running that same style header on Lewis's Nova, and he's getting about 1,150 wheel horsepower, and it's on about 25 pounds of boost, so it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure you're tired of hearing me talk, so I'm gonna have Brad come in and tell you about the other parts we have here, and check us out on the episodes we have upcoming, and even if you haven't watched the first episode of the 711 build, check it out now.
Alright guys, so as Dad said, we got these new turbos from VS, which I'm actually super excited to mess around with. I've done a lot of VS stuff in the past with other customers coming in and doing tunes and stuff like that. And I've always had good response from their product, so I'm really interested to see how these work out. And symmetrical turbos are cool to begin with. We've had a lot of feedback online, some good, some bad. I've had a lot of you that are really pumped for this project, and I thank you for that. I had a couple people that were just not really sure how we were going to do this. So I'm going to roll in my dry erase board, which I like to use, and give you guys a little bit of a breakdown on how we're going to get to $11,000. And hopefully we can stay within our budget. So let me grab that. So, as I said in the first video, we got the roller for $3,500. At least I think I said that in the video. I don't even remember anymore. But, so we got the S10 roller for $3,500. Took a huge piece of our whole build out of the box right there, because that's a huge chunk of money we spent on it. A lot of these guys that are doing these budget builds are trying to get a roller for a couple $100. I was looking for something in this project that we were able to check off a lot of our boxes. And I'm gonna run down through and just show you what we got when we bought that S10 roller. First and foremost, it has a certified 850 cage. It's still certified now. So you don't have to worry about any of that process going into 2020 race season. It has a Ford 9-inch in it, has 373 gears in it, it's a 35 spline axle setup. So we have everything we need there for the rear end, especially with the weight we're looking at with this truck, to be able to accomplish what we're looking for. With that, it also has the front brakes off of an S10 on the rear for rear disc brakes. It also came with fully adjustable coilovers. We got QA1s the whole way around. I don't know anything about them, so we're gonna it's gonna be a shot in the dark, but at least we're starting with already having a set of coilovers on it. With Lewis's car, when I built his yellow Nova, that was one of our biggest, learning processes with his car as far as what we needed for shocks, and we had to go spend $1,000 just on shocks after our first session out running 8s with his car. So that's a huge thing. We do have a connection with a guy locally that will go through and run through the shocks and adjust some valving if we have to. We're probably gonna end up going to his shop at some point, do a cool little walkthrough, give you an idea about who he is and what he does. That's for another episode. We got Wilwood front brakes with a Wilwood master cylinder to control everything. Now we're gonna have to make some lines. I'm gonna try and do that as budget friendly as possible. As you may know, making lines can get expensive, but we do have all the leader lines to go from the caliper to the frame, which is one of the more expensive parts, $100, $150 at least, just for those lines. We have a radiator, we have a fuel cell, we have a driver's seat, and we have a motor plate. All of these things check off a lot of the stuff that can add up quickly. The safety stuff can really get expensive quicker than you realize. We have harnesses here at the shop for some of our other cars, and we just tore down a car at the end of 2019 that we're going to be using some of the safety equipment off of that car to go into this car. So yes, you at home are going to have to go and buy a set of harnesses, and you're going to spend probably $150 on a set of harnesses. We have them. So that's kind of like a gray area, and there is going to be some gray areas with this build. Going through our list, you're going to be like, man, I can't get that for that, or I can't do this for that. And I tried to keep this rest of this list as possible, as tight as possible for what it would go online, whether it's used, retail, or whatever. So the next thing we picked up, and we've actually had this at the shop for a little bit. We were kind of looking for a project to put it in, but we picked up a Gen 4 5.3 aluminum short block. We got it for 200 bucks. It is basically ready to go. I'm going to do a whole rundown of breaking the motor down, going through it, setting the ring gap, all that kind of stuff. I got some of the parts here already. We actually wanted to try and get that involved with episode 2, but we don't have everything here yet, so I can't get rolling on that today. But I wanted to kind of keep the ball rolling with our project and kind of give you guys some updates on what we have going on. I got a set of 706 heads for 50 bucks. As you know, you can go on Marketplace and find the truck heads for cheap all day long. So this is not out of the realm of what we're doing. We got the VS Racing 67 turbos. They were $1,300 retail roughly is where they're at. We got them for a little bit cheaper, but I'm kind of trying to keep it where we're at for as far as prices go. I'm using a CSF intercooler core from them. It's actually the core they use on the GTRs. Basically, it's a vertical flow intercooler. My whole plan is to have both turbos in the front, go into the bottom tank, vertical flow up into the throttle body. Again, this is going to be a fab-heavy, project. So a lot of it I'm saving money on because of the type of work that I do. So the intercooler core is it's actually like $375 is what the retail is online if you go to direct the CSF on it. But I found a place online that had it for 295 bucks. My price is even cheaper than that. But again, trying to stay on what you could buy it for online. We're using a set of VS Racing wastegates. These go for like 95 bucks a pop, so $200 for the two of them. We are running a Holley Terminator X. That's our goal. Now I'm gonna get a little hairy here and you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's bullshit. But with the Holley Terminator X, you have a very basic standalone setup that works really well on the LSs, as a lot of you guys have seen. It works awesome. I love the Holley. It does a really great job. There's kind of a little bit of a loophole that I have found with the Terminator X, where, as many of you know, when you buy it, you get the standalone, the wiring harness, and you also get the 3.5-inch dash. Well, you can also buy it without the 3.5-inch dash, and that you can get for a retail price of 900 bucks. So that's the budget that we're using on this. I'm gonna get a little bit more in depth on our standalone process for you guys in a little bit, but basically we're gonna hit the topic of $900 and we're not gonna have the dash. We have got a Power Glide. This is a Power Glide that we picked up that has a broken ear on it. Very, kind of a luck of the draw type of thing. For you to find a Power Glide for $1,000 like what we have, it's probably not gonna happen. I'm gonna be honest with you guys there. That's the one thing that we got for stupid cheap, and it's because it's broke. It could be it could break our entire project, really, because if I can't use that Power Glide, we're gonna probably spend $2,500 on one that's like the one we have to replace it. But I believe that I can fix the case, and my plan is to fix the case. It does have a trans brake in it. It is a fully done setup. One thing that I was really worried about, and the guys on Sloppy kind of gave me some insight to this, was I was worried about a converter. I knew a converter was gonna run around $1,000, and I was actually linked up with one for 325 bucks off of Jegs. I have no idea how it's gonna work out. We're gonna try it, we're gonna see what happens, give you guys some feedback. A couple guys said they were in low 8s with it with heavier cars. So if they're able to do that, we're lighter, we should be able to make that work. The one thing we don't have anything for on the S10 is electrical stuff. So I found on Amazon an 8-gang electrical PDM. Basically it's just a little button switch panel with a relay board. Pretty simple, we're gonna use that. And then I accounted for drive shaft price in here, and that's 300 bucks. So if you do the math at home and you figure out what you got going on, you're gonna come up with, it's 82, hold on, let me just do this here. My handwriting is terrible, that's why Des had to write all of this. But 8215 is what we're at off of this lift. What we have in it right now is actually oops, $5,480 because of some of the deals that we got and stuff like that. So, like I said, I wanted to kind of really go through this whole list and give you guys an idea on this is how we're gonna try to do it and go from there. So, next I'm gonna kind of run through some of the other parts we got and give you guys a little bit more of an update. All right guys, so I'm gonna get into the engine a little bit. As you can see, we have our 5.3 short block sitting here. We have it ready to start tearing down. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the motor and make sure that everything is proper. The last thing I wanna do is put this thing in and together, get it running, and we could have just taken this exact step right now and gone through and found a bad bearing or something like that going on. I do plan on putting bearings in it, but I'm gonna show how to check it and go over all that. That way, if there is any possibility of reusing what's in there, you can. And I have no problem reusing anything. Our big thing is I'm gonna go a little above and beyond on some of the stuff throughout the build and kind of give you both sides of how you could do it. I'm probably gonna get crap for it and whatever, but our basic thing with this build is I'm not trying to build a motor for us to go down the track 3 times. I want something that's gonna last us a while. If it lasts us all season, that's great. We do have a plan to build a heavier duty motor as we go forward with a different crank and some stuff like that. We have a whole nother 5.3 aluminum block that we're gonna be doing that way. And that'll be like way down on episodes. But as of right now, this is our 5.3. I'm gonna be doing a teardown video to go along with it. But I wanted to show you some of the parts we got. I am a distributor here at the shop for a company called Liberty Performance Components. And they make valve springs, basically anything you come up with. So they make basically it's like a packed spring, dual spring replacement for an LS cylinder head. Their springs run it's under $150 for a set of springs. And then they make their own push rods, and the push rods run under $100. And then they make a nice set of retainers to go along with their springs. Those are $30 or so. And then the one part that I think is really cool is they have these really nice little packages. Basically, this is the oil plug package on the LS motors. It has a little barbell in there, and when we do the teardown, I'll explain the barbell a little bit further. But this has all the plugs in the block. They make multiple types of kits like this, where you can actually buy this kit and get it where it has not only those plugs, but it has all the bolts for the motor. They have all kinds of crazy stuff they make. The one part we're missing right now, which I'm not able to really get too far into, is we're going to be running the Ilgen, basically the sloppy stage 3 cam. What that cam is, it's 595 lift, and it's a little bit more than what the guys would call the sloppy stage 2. That Ilgen actually has it coined that name when you go on and look at their specs and such. So it's the one that's a little bit bigger than that. We're going to be running that, and I'm going to be kind of throwing out some information on our, what we make and all that kind of stuff once we get there. I kind of forecast us changing the cam out at some point. I would like to work with one of the 2 companies that we're a dealer with here at the shop. I'm not going to plug their names yet, but I would like to kind of show the difference of, okay, like let's say we go and we make 900 horsepower with this motor, and I go and I switch cams. I don't do anything other than switching the cam. I want to see if there's actually a benefit. There might not be, there might be. I know that we did some testing with Lewis's Nova, and when I did a cam swap on that, it made the power band completely different on it, and it was for the better. So I know the sloppy stage 3 is the cam that like a lot of guys use, and also the 2. So we wanted to use that to kind of stay on the same plane as what a lot of other guys do. And the cam for us is under $230. So cheap option, and we're gonna start there. And then I'm going to move some of this stuff around and show you some of the other products that we got a while and kind of go from there. Alright, so the one thing I haven't really touched base much upon is the fuel system. I said we have a fuel cell, but that's really all that I talked about. I'm still kind of in limbo as far as what we're going to do for a fuel pump. There's a bunch of options out there, and there's definitely some ways that we can do it pretty cheap. But I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do. The one thing that I did end up coming down to was what we're going to do for injectors. As a lot of you may have heard, you've heard of Snake Eater Performance. I was talking to Brad over at Snake Eater, and he sent us a set of the Snake Eater 1500s. I've tuned quite a bit of these, and I like them. You know, I don't have any issues with them. I have flow matched them on my own. He sends some really nice paperwork that flow matches them for you as well, and gives you the numbers as far as what you saw on his injector tester. And he has really good equipment. So, you know, I know that a lot of people kind of say sometimes like, oh, I don't want to use China crap and stuff like that. Well, I've had good and bad with even stuff that's done here in the United States. So, I haven't had any problems with Brad's stuff, and I wanted to kind of try and push a 1500 out as far as we can. It's probably a really stupid thing to do, but I'm going to do it. And if we only make 800 horsepower, I'm just going to put a set of 210s and it'll be done. And that's not an issue for me. So as of right now, we do have the 1500s here. I don't know what we're doing for fuel system yet. We have the rails, all that stuff, but I don't know what we're going to do for a pump. The next piece I'm going to introduce is where everybody's going to get mad at me, and I don't really care. I have a plan here, and I'm going to tell you why. So we already got our standalone, and as some of you may know, this is not a Terminator X.
I'll be back.
This is a Dominator, okay? I got a used Dominator online for stupid cheap. The issue there is you're not going to be able to get a used Dominator online for as cheap as I did. I just kind of, again, a luck of the draw type of situation. I made a barter with a customer that had it for sale and they were looking to upgrade into something else, and I was able to do a trade where it basically cost me almost nothing to be able to pick that up. Now that Dominator comes with the full LS harness. It also has the EGT monitors with it as well, which I'm not going to be using. My basic thing is I want to take the Dominator and use it. If everybody's going to cry about it, I'm still going to use the Dominator. But the thing is, I'm going to use the Dominator to a level that it's only the same as the Terminator X. So the Terminator X has a specific amount of inputs and outputs that are available, and I'm going to relay that down to what the Dominator can do. So I might have, I forget how many available inputs they have, but I might have available, 16 inputs I can do on the Dominator, but the Holly only has 4. And I'm going to only use 4. So that's where I'm going to kind of show you like, hey, you could get by with doing this with the Terminator X. What this opens us up for down the road, like I said, I don't plan on just stopping once we go and do our goal here with the truck. This opens me up to show you guys why it's beneficial to have an EGT monitor, why it's beneficial to have a coolant pressure a coolant pressure sensor, why it's beneficial to have exhaust back pressure, and I can run 2 exhaust back pressure sensors with this. Sorry about that. And I would never be able to do that with the Terminator X. I could run 2 exhaust back pressure sensors, but I couldn't run all the extra stuff that goes along with it. So I want to be able to show all of that stuff at a later date, but in the meantime, since I got such a good deal on this, instead of me going and picking up a Terminator X and putting it in the truck and then pulling it out, basically after the first probably 2 or 3 test sessions we do with the thing, and putting in either a Holly HP or a Dominator, I already got the Dominator, and we're going to go forward with the Dominator, but I'm just going to show you when we get into the standalone side of stuff why you would want to potentially look at using a heavier standalone than what the Terminator X is capable of. But that's for another day. I wanted to kind of introduce that and kind of go from there. And like I said, I know that there's going to be people that are going to cry no matter what, but there is a method to our madness here, and we're going to try and make this as budget friendly as possible and explain things along the way, that it's not just going to be the next episode I have the truck on the dyno and we're making 1,000 horsepower. So thanks for tuning in today, and please like, share, and subscribe to the Race Show.